Good afternoon, class. So it's 7 July. We'll continue with the same topic, periodic classification of the elements. Okay, yeah, on our previous class, we have done with the groups and periods in which elements are distributed along the period and in the groups. Okay, so there was the point which we have left. That was the first thing which the Moseley has done before predicting his periodic table, because when he took the data from the Mendeleev's periodic table was actually a gem for the scientists, because earlier when the scientists were using to they used to do some experiment, they are trying to fix these elements in a proper way. There is no systematic, there is no base of uh, anything. But Mendeleev gives up at least a base for the periodic classification, okay, which is carried over by the Moseley for the modern classification. This periodic table is also known as form of periodic table. Okay, so in 1912, Moseley, he was a physicist. He measures the frequency of X-rays emitted by the metals when bombarded with the electrons, high-speed electrons. This thing we have learned, when we bombard the high-speed electron with the metals, with the elements which we have. Okay, so he discovered that the square root of the frequency of the prominent X-rays emitted by the metal is directly proportional to the atomic number. This stated that frequency of the X-rays which is emitted by the atoms or metals when we bombard them with a high speed electron is directly proportional to its atomic number, not to its atomic weight. That is the reason the Moseley considered the atomic number to be the base property of base of this periodic classification. That is why he just make the periodic table on the basis of increasing atomic number. Got it? This is the reason he came to know that the properties of the elements is directly proportional, is depend on actually on atomic number, not on atomic mass or atomic weight, right? So Mendeleev's theory was discarded by him. So his formula is root V. This is V is, what is V? V is frequency. This is V is like nu. It seems to be like V here, but this is nu. Nu means frequency. So root nu is equal to A. This is directly proportional, replacement of directly proportional. If I put root nu directly proportional Z minus B in bracket. If I remove the proportionality constant, then I will put A here. So A is the proportionality constant and B is the screening constant. Write somewhere this thing. B is the screening constant. So A is the proportionality constant and B is the constant for all the lines. All the lines means screening, because we just get these lines on a screen, on a sheet. So that is why B is known as screening constant. Okay. So if we plot a graph between V nu versus Z, Z is the atomic number, because if this is constant, this is constant. So this root nu is directly proportional to Z, means frequency of the X-rays emitted from the metal is directly proportional to its atomic number. So if we plot a graph between this root nu and this Z, then it gave us a straight line graph, as you can see. First, this is P. P is phosphorus, C is calcium, magnesium, zinc, boron, like, okay. And here is the atomic number. This is 1 2 3 4 5 6, on the basis of this he just put it. So this nu is the frequency. Whenever he collect the X-rays, he just found a position on the graph, and he simultaneously came to know that this is the atomic number of this element. So that is why the graph between these elements are straight. Okay. So as you can see, these are the two graphs. First is for K series. What is K? KLM. Now this thing already know, because the electron distribution in shells earlier. Okay, shells, KLMN. So for the K series means in these series the outermost electron which take part is in K shell only. Okay, so the value of A and B is different. For L series, the elements which have which part in which the L outermost orbital which participate in electron filling is L. So there the value of A and B is different. This I am telling you what is the value in K series and what is the value of A and B in Z series. You just note it down somewhere. The value of A for K series. This is the basic one. Now here right now we are talking about the basic one. Okay. So for K series, A value is 4.97 into 10 to the power 7 hertz per half. This is half. Okay. And B value is 1. Note it down somewhere, beta. A is equal to 4.97 into 10 to the power 7 hertz half. Okay. And B is 1. For L series, the value is different. For L series, this is visible to you now. For L series, nu is frequency, Z is atomic number, and A is, the value of A is 2.13 into 10 to the power 7 hertz half. And B value is 7.4. These value will be constant because these are the constant. For B series, we have 7. For this L series, we have value of B is 7.1, and for A series, we have 1. Okay, and for L series, we have 2.13 into 10 to the power 7, the value of A. But for K series, we have 4.97 into 10 to the power 7 hertz. Okay, these value is constant for these proportionally constant, that is A and B respect. Okay, so modern periodic table was actually based on the atomic number. That is why he concluded that all the physical and chemical properties are based on the atomic number. So if we arrange all the elements in the increasing order of atomic number, the elements will show similar property at a regular interval of time. Okay, this thing clear to you all, beta? Yes, everyone. Is this thing clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's continue with our topic, that is periodic properties. So what are the periodic properties? We have discussed about the chemical and physical properties. As we all know, we have learned this thing, that physical properties that we can feel, see, touch. Chemical properties means which when we add something into something, then we'll get some different result. We'll obtain a different compound. For example, like oxygen is gas, hydrogen is gas. If we combine these two gases chemically, they will form water. So that is a chemical reaction which takes place between hydrogen and oxygen. So if we talk about the periodic properties which are related to these elements, so that is actually very important. Because of these properties, we came to know about what is happening inside the periodic table. What is the logic behind it? Which group has which type of properties and how these properties change accordingly when we go down or when we go from left to right throughout the period. Okay. So we have learned about the modern main features. Right now we have learned about the main features. What was the main feature of modern periodic table and something. But in this we will learn about the number of valency electron, or how the nuclear charge increases when we go from left to right. Okay, so we will learn this thing. Okay. So we have learned that in a period, the number of valency electron and the nuclear charge increases from left to right. When we go along the period from left to the right, then the electron charge which is present between the nucleus and the valency electron will increase. Okay. So what is the reason? It increases the force of attraction between them. So in a group, the number of the field shell increases and the valency electron are present in higher shell. This decreases the force of attraction between them and the nucleus of the atom. These changes affect various property of the elements. They shows gradual variation in the groups. So what they want to explain? They just want to explain that if when we go from left to the right, we stated that the force of attraction between the valency electron and the nucleus will increase. So what is the reason? But in a group, when we in a group of number of field shells increases and the valency electron present in the higher shell. What do you mean by higher shell? When we go left to the right, first we have S block, okay, then we have D block. D block means in which the D subshell will take part, means we require 10 electrons to fill in the same subshell. That is why the charge between the D shell and the nucleus will increase, because whenever the element of D block attract means fills the electron, they just fill the electron in the outermost shell, means they increases the number of electrons only in D shell. Okay, so if we increase, for example, let's just take like this. If I have a magnet, ठीक है, मेरे पास एक मैग्नेट है छोटी सी, और उधर मेरे पास एक आयरन का टुकड़ा है, ठीक है, अगर मैंने अभी फिलहाल क्या है, मेरे पास बैलेंस फोर्स है, आई हैव बैलेंस फोर्स बिटवीन दिस मैग्नेट एंड दैट आयरन पीस, राइट? But if I keep on increasing the iron pieces on the right side, then what will happen? The force of attraction between the iron pieces and the magnet will increase. Whenever the number of electron will increase, they will just the force between the nucleus and the electron will also increase. So when 10 electrons are there in the D subshell, it means that the force of attraction between the D shell and the nucleus is greater, right? Because of the increased number of electrons. So they just want to explain this thing, so the force of attraction will increase. So hi sir, this decreases the force of attraction between the nucleus of the atom. The charges affect the various properties. So what will happen ultimately? The electron which participate in the next shell, what will happen? The next shell which participate, the force between that outermost shell and the nucleus will less as compared to the inner one. Okay, because अब हमने D क्रॉस कर दिया, अब हम किस साइड जा रहे हैं? P की साइड जा रहे हैं. तो जब हम P की साइड मूव कर रहे हैं, तो what will happen? Number of shells बढ़ते चले जाएंगे. So the force of attraction between the nucleus and the outermost shell will decrease. और जिसकी वजह से क्या होगा? That led to the effect in the properties, physical and chemical properties of the element. This thing we will learn earlier. Don't worry. Okay. So these changes affect various properties of the elements. They shows gradual variation in the groups. That is why we have different properties in different group. For example, halogen shows different property. Noble gases show different property. Alkali metal shows different property. Alkali earth metal shows different properties. So that is why we have variation in the properties in group. Okay. So, and in periods, they repeated themselves after a certain interval of time, interval of atomic number, and these repeated itself after a certain atomic number. For example, that octet rule, I think you remember this thing. Okay, hydrogen first, helium second, means first is 1s, second is noble gas, they are apart in the periodic table, and when it go back to the third, means the property of hydrogen and lithium will be same, and when we go to the next, then what will happen? The period properties will be changed. So there will be the change in the properties due to the atomic number. Okay, so these properties are known as periodic properties because we have so many variations, so many changes in the periodic table. My screen is visible? Yes, beta. My screen is visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
just discuss the first and foremost important property. What was that? The important property is first valency. We should know the valency of the element. So what is the valency? So we are discussing valency in a period. How valency is changed along the period. Okay. So you have already learned in the previous section that number of valency electrons present in a period in a normal element, it increases from 1 to 8. This thing we have discussed already because along the period valency will change. In first we had the valency is 1. If we go to second group, then the 2. Then we will go to the third group, it keep on changing. Okay, when we move from left to right, because whenever you switch to the next group, One electron will be added to the valency shell. Got it? Okay. In a period from left to right. It reaches to 8 in a group 18. So the valency 8 reaches to 8 when we go to the group 18. That is noble gas group, last group, helium family. Okay. Which shows the practically no chemical activity under ordinary condition and their valency taken as zero. Under ordinary condition, these gases are inactive. They don't show any property. They don't show any property, right? And their valency is zero because outermost shell is completely filled. The octet is completely filled. That is why the valency is zero. So carefully look at the table. Okay, I'm just showing you this thing, the table which is here. This thing you can learn. Okay. So now the valencies keep on changing when we move from first group to the last group along the period. Okay. So what will happen? The valency of the elements, okay, from 1 to 7, it will keep on increasing. As we go from sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine. Okay. So how valency differs? The valency of sodium is 1. Magnesium is 2, aluminum is third, silicon is 4, phosphorus is 5, and this sulfur is 6, and this calcium is 7. Means it keep on increasing. But when we react these elements with the oxygen, then what will happen? When we react these elements with the oxygen to produce oxides of these elements, then what will happen? How oxygen react with them? Because the valency of oxygen is 2 only. Okay, minus 2 means it can accept only 2 electrons. So how will we able to form O10, this O3, right? Like O4, there are so many compounds where O2, O3, O10, these are there. So what will happen? So valency of a normal oxygen with respect to oxygen, normal elements with respect to oxygen increases from 1 to 7. If we take oxygen as the base, so 1 to 7, it keep on increasing. Okay, so the valency is equal to the number of valency electron or the group numbers of group 1 to 1 and 2, or the group number 10 from 13 to 40. Sorry, there are so many variations in the group. I will tell you this. Yes, beta. So there is a variation how oxygen react. So what will happen? For this, we need to increase the number of elements, number of metals with which we are reacting the oxygen. For example, if we took Na2, Na2O. Na2O means it is a compound of sodium oxide. But what will happen? Oxygen require 2 electron for two bond. Okay, double oxygen bond with 2 double bonds only. Okay, and the valency of this sodium is 1. So what will happen? We react 2 sodium with this oxygen. Same with this. Same with this. The valency of this aluminum is 3. Okay, and we have to prepare the oxygen, aluminum oxide. Then what will happen? We have to increase the number of metals which are reacting with the oxygen. That is how the compounds form. Okay, because the valency electron will take part in the bond formation. Metal will donate their electron and non-metal will accept their electron. Okay, so we have all observed that the valency of the element with respect to hydrogen, if we took hydrogen as the base, okay, means the first group, we are talking about the lithium family. Okay, respect to hydrogen and chlorine, chlorine is a gas, increasing from 1 to 4. If we go to like this, 1 to 4 and then decrease to 1 again, see what will happen. If we bond it with the like the normal valency of lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, it will keep on increasing the same. But when we take it with the, like when we bond it with the hydrogen and chlorine, what will happen? If we bond lithium hydroxide, but this is the only exception when hydrogen accepts the electron. Rather, hydrogen has the property to donate the electron. But when we react it with the lithium, then what will happen? It will react with it. So LiH will form. This is the exception, generally exception, when the lithium force hydrogen to accept the electron. at that time the charge on the hydrogen will be minus, okay, and lithium will be positive. So LiH is Li positive, H negative. It accepts the electron. With beryllium, these means when we go further to the like these gases, non-metals, what will happen? The valency start decreasing. Then what will happen? What is the reason of this? They just take two examples that when we react all these elements with hydrogen, what will happen? The valency will be like same. It will keep on increasing. But when we react with chlorine, what will happen? In some cases, when the chlorine react with the non-metal itself, then at that time there is a change. Why? Because if Cl2O is there, this is Cl2O, then what will happen? At this time, chlorine is least reactive than oxygen, more reactive than oxygen. Then what will happen? The chlorine force, like oxygen force chlorine to donate its electron. क्या होता है बेटा? Listen, जो अपने आप में strong है, मजबूत है, more reactive है, वो अपने से least reactive को मजबूर कर देगा कि भाई आप अपने इलेक्ट्रॉन मुझे दे दो, चाहे उसकी प्रॉपर्टी है या नहीं है डोनेट करने की, ठीक है, या एक्सेप्ट करने की. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हाइड्रोजन, हाइड्रोजन बिहेव लाइक मेटल्स. It has the property to donate the electron. That is why we put it at the end of the left side where metals are placed. But when we reacting two non-metals, then what will happen? The more reactive will force the other element to leave its electron. Means at that time one non-metal, the least reactive non-metal, will behave like metal because it's donating its electron. So in this compound Cl2O is there. Oxygen require 2 electrons and chlorine has valency 1. So what will happen? 2 chlorine will bond with this oxygen. That is why the valency variate here. Okay, because we are reacting non-metal with a non-metal, okay, and it requires 2 electrons from that non-metal. That is why the valency varied here. Okay, this variation is due to some changes in some like difference in their atomic number. This thing we will came to know when we will go to the atomic radii or down to the point. Now this thing is clear, beta. So the first element is alkali metal is 1. Similar valency from of all groups 17. We have similar valencies, but halogen is 1 with respect to hydrogen and 7 with respect to oxygen. Means halogen shows valency 7 when react with hydrogen, but it shows valency 1 when react with chlorine. Means halogens, non-metals. When halogens react with the what oxygen, then what will happen? Chlorine and this form, the valency will change. So the valency of the halogens varied. When it react with hydrogen, the valency will be 7, and when it react with the halogens, oxygen react with the halogens, then what will happen? The valency will be 7. So there is the difference in the valency. This thing will be more clear when you will read it once after the class. Okay, let's just go to the atomic radii. What is atomic radii? Can you tell me? What do you mean by radius?
Ma'am, distance between nucleus and outermost shell.
Yes, perfect. Wait a minute. Distance between. Wait a minute. Hold it up. I think I have some issue here.